Hello, we are live. I'm Tim Gosnell, and this is Lunch Money, a show where we talk about money, budgeting, and how to generally create a life that you love. Because you know what I realized?
What's
like, I feel like there's two scenarios. Either people build a life and in order, they're living the American dream, they're buying all the stuff, and then in order to pay for that, they have to work a job they hate.
Yeah.
Or they opt out of that system. They make a lot of compromises on their lifestyle, and they work a job that they like, but then they don't get to do the stuff they want.
Yeah.
And I want you to be able to do both. I want you to be able to, and you can do both.
Yeah, you
And so
can.
that's what this show's about, creating a life that you love, a life that you can be excited about. I'm joined by my co-host and aunt, Melissa Dunn.
Hello.
And today's topic is, what is it? How to know if you are financially ready to buy a house.
Okay.
Which I'm kind of surprised that we have not covered at some point on this channel
Seems
at
important.
all.
Yeah.
It does. It does. And if you are younger, you're in your 20s or 30s. I'm now in my 40s.
Oh, you're old.
Just broke my 40s this May. It's an important milestone.
Yeah.
It's something that's exciting. We bought our first house. Wait.
You were young.
We were young. 21.
Yeah.
21. We got married
Babies.
and had bought the house together just before we got married. And thankfully it worked out, but things could have gone very wrong.
They could have.
It could have gone very wrong. So anyway, that's what we're talking about today. But first, let's visit a bit. How's life going? Anything new with you?
I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
You look great, but you also
look tired.
look like you're on the struggle bus this morning internally. So,
Yes.
but thanks for being here. I hope that you're doing better than Melissa. I have nothing that the only thing
Will you update us on Sarah?
Yeah.
Because, okay.
That's the
You left us on like a cliffhanger.
listen. So if you remember last week, she made it to New York. My wife has stage 4 cancer. She's been in treatment for 8+ years. She's in New York, supposed to get this new treatment. And I get a call from her and they're like, the insurance didn't approve it.
After saying they had approved.
Yeah, after saying they would approve it. And so thankfully the doctors there are amazing. And they're like, we're going to give it to you either way. We'll take care of it if they don't cover it. But we're in Virginia. So it was a big mess. So she gets medicine. But here's the thing. This week, I believe it's Wednesday, something like that. We are sitting in Mellow Mushroom. She just sits down. She's like, my face is feeling a little funny. And I look at it and it's drooping. One of the side effects of the new medications is a risk of stroke.
Yeah.
So it's like drooping. I mean, number one,
Yeah.
symptom of stroke. So we literally, the server brought our drinks. I was like, my wife is having stroke-like symptoms. We need to run. I ran a lot of red lights, go into the hospital.
That had to be, we didn't talk about this. That had to be nerve-wracking scary.
Yeah. And, I don't know. Part of me is like, it's not going to be a stroke. But I don't think anyone
Yeah.
who's young, who's having a stroke thinks it's a stroke.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they stress so much. You have to act fast because you're like,
Yes.
oh, this is the only thing. It's not that
Yeah.
big of a deal.
Yeah.
I'm not hurting. I'm not in pain. But yeah, we rushed there, got there, and they ran all the tests. The hospital was great. I was nervous that they weren't going to take it seriously, but they immediately called a code stroke. They ran her back, took the scans. She stayed overnight, and they can't 100% rule out that it wasn't a stroke, but we do know that it was not a major stroke. I don't think it was a stroke. There's also some potential nerve stuff that can happen with their medicine. So she's good. Her face is not drooping anymore. She'll be going back in a couple weeks for some more medicine. But anyway, it was exciting. That's one way to put it.
Exciting in the wrong way.
Yeah. So that was my week. Bobby started school. I talked about my summers are going to be ending and I'm not going to be able to sleep in anymore. Well, we set up with some neighbors a carpooling agreement. So we're doing every other week with the
nice. You didn't
kids.
tell me that
So I
either.
do get up to get him ready for school. Then I go back to bed. So I slept in, guys, I have the wonkiest work schedule. I've been working till like midnight, 1 o'clock. And then I slept until 10:30 this morning and I got up and
Living life.
I have to rush to get ready for our noon show. So here we are. We both made it.
Here we are, barely.
Which is why neither Melissa and I can work regular jobs.
This is the reason why.
Because we
We're
want to
not
be able
normal.
to work at midnight, and then I don't want to have to be hassled to be up
Yeah.
at 9. 9's hard to be up for, much less those jobs where you have to be there at 8.
At
7:30
8 and follow rules. No, thank you.
Anyway, I really do hope you guys are doing okay. I'm glad you guys are joining us. Let's jump into today's topic.
Let's do it.
So, today's topic is how you know if you're financially ready to buy a house. First, I wanted to go over the pros and cons of home ownership in general. I think I talk a little bit more about the cons of home ownership
Yeah.
on the channel in general, and I think that's because I get very nervous that people will buy a house before they're ready.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to be in that position, because you can lose a lot of money by making a mistake like that. You can cause a lot of stress in your life by making a mistake like that.
And I think you think owning a home is only upside. I
Right.
think that's a general idea, is like you're investing money. It's
Yeah.
the only way to go.
And there are a lot of upsides. Let's talk about them. So you build equity over time. There's two ways that you're building equity. One is you're making payments, and a portion of those payments go towards the interest, but a small portion at the beginning goes towards the balance. And so your balance is starting to go down over time. But hopefully the value of the home is also going up. Now, that depends on what the economy is like, what real estate is like at the time. When we bought our house, it was 2006, the end of 2006, so 2007. If you'll recall, 2008, there was a terrible housing crash. And so our house didn't increase in value for a long time, 10 plus years probably, before we had any substantial increase in value. And so that's not a given, but we're talking about the positive. So in general, that is a unusual long time for not increasing in value. But in general, it should increase in value over time. And you get to be like, if your house goes up $10,000 in value, you just have magically created $10,000 in value, but you don't get to realize it until you sell the home. But there is that value there that's created, that equity. Payments are more stable than rent. So, obviously rent, unless you have a term of a lease for a certain amount of time, your landlord can up your rent at any point in time, and your payments are much more stable. The thing that can change, which I don't know that a lot of people realize, is your taxes can change. So either taxes can increase, or your home value goes up. So even though the percentage of taxes have not increased, what you will pay has increased. So they'll reassess your house, and then that can affect your payment in order to cover those taxes, because the mortgage company handles those taxes. But in order to do that, they take that out of your monthly payment. So they'll adjust
every
that.
year our payment changes.
Yeah, it gets adjusted slightly. Yep. You have freedom to customize your space. It's your space. You don't have to ask anyone if you can paint the walls, remove a wall, add stuff. You can just do what you want when you want it. And there's something that's very nice about that. It just feels nice to own where you live, And so I think those are. Do you have any pluses that I missed that you appreciate about homeownership?
I don't, because I don't appreciate it very much.
Oh, and that's good to know. Well, we're moving on to the cons. What don't you appreciate? Like, what's the thing
Where's
that gets
the
you the
list?
most? Yeah.
Is there a list?
There is a list, but I want to hear what's at the top of your list. Like, what really gets your goat about homeownership?
Well, that it's so much responsibility. I'm somebody who wants to make things as easy as possible. It's not easy.
Yeah. First con is high upfront cost. You have down payments, you have closing costs, you have insurance, all sorts of costs, inspections. Sometimes, so we had our house inspected, there was signs of old termite damage. So the mortgage company requires you to get pest control treatment. So it's just every little thing, there's a potential for cost.
It's a huge investment.
Yeah. Once you own the house, if something breaks, there is no landlord. There is no landlord. So the washer and dryer breaks, it's your responsibility. The AC breaks, it's your responsibility. Anything breaks, you can just not fix it.
You can.
That is an option. But if you want that thing, you are responsible for it. So less flexible to move and costs more to move. So, to sell a house, there's going to be lots of expenses and fees, just like there was to buy the house. Then you have market risk. So like I was talking about in 2008, you're not guaranteed that the home value is going to go up. There is a chance, it's small, that depending on how long you've owned the house, that the house value can go down. So you can lose money that way. And then it's more expensive in general. Just your payments are going to be more expensive. They're more stable. So let's say that you're in a house for 10 plus years. Your payments have been stable over that time, but at the beginning and on average, your payment is going to be more than renting. So according to apartments.com, the average monthly rent as of July 2025 is $1,637.
What?
Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies puts the average mortgage, including taxes and insurance, at $2,570.
Do you want to know what our monthly payment is?
We'd love to know what you're. Yeah, let me guess. Let me guess.
So you got to remember. Wait. We need to tell our friends that my sister we co-own this, so she pays half of the mortgage. She has a full, her own entrance, 2 or 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms downstairs.
Yeah.
So this is a split.
Yeah. So it's your portion of
my portion, which is
mortgage.
50-50 split.
I am going to guess it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 600.
It is 400.
400. So total, you guys are less than 1,000.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a beautiful feeling.
It's
and
beautiful.
that's what happens. That's
the
great.
only upside.
Now,
That's the only upside
now,
for us.
yeah, there's a lot of expenses that
Yeah.
you have to then budget for to compensate for that. But yeah, it can be really, really good.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been in the house? 15 years?
No, almost 18.
18 years.
Yeah.
So 18 years ago, there was not as much of a spread
Yeah.
between. And that brings us to the other point of like, staying in a place for a very long time is where the value is,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're going to move after 5 years, that was the old rule. And we've talked about it on the channel before, how I don't agree with that minimum of 5 years. You're going to lose money at 5 years on average.
What would you say? What do you say?
Well, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
We're going to get to that. Let's not jump the gun. Okay. All right. So now let's move on to the 6 ways to know if you're financially ready to buy a house. Number 1, you've run the numbers. You've looked at the monthly mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, the utilities, and you've considered other major life changes that might be coming up while you're in the home, including kids and job shifts and stuff like that. So we're looking at the whole big picture and saying, can I really afford this? We're not just looking at one number. We're not looking at the mortgage payment and our rent number. We're looking at everything, and we're running all of these big numbers and considering how life could change. Number 2, you have a stable income. So if you're in a job where you're at risk of losing that job, you have like insecurity in that way, you haven't been at the job very long, you're not established there, you don't think that you will be at that job for a long time, then we might want to put the brakes on buying a home. Number 3, you've saved for a down payment. Now, there are a lot of loan programs where you can do 0% down. When we bought our house, we did 0% down. That kind of went away after 2008, but I think it's coming back. You'll see a lot more 0%. Frankly, I'm not totally against it, but I still want you to save 10 to 20% because of all those costs. So either way, I want you to be saving, even if
Have
you
a little
can,
padding.
even if you can get away with no down payment. I want you to save it so that you have it. Number 4, you've paid off all of your high interest debt. And I consider high interest debt anything that's double digits. So if it's 10% or above, I also include any debt that has like a 0% introductory fee, because if you do not pay that, most of the time that has well over double
goes
digits.
way up.
And so it really is double digits that they're kind of sneaking in with 0%. So we paid off all of our high interest debt. You have a fully funded emergency fund. And for me, I recommend a fully funded emergency fund being 6 months of expenses. This helps you stay afloat when unexpected costs come up. And believe me, unexpected costs will come. There's so many. I mean, it's just whether it's fees, insurance, all this other stuff, there are unexpected costs
Yes,
that
there
will
is.
show up. And we're talking about within the first couple of months. It's not going to be years down the road. It's going to be
Yes.
days down the road. You're going to be like, oh, I didn't realize I needed to do that. Number 6 and last is you plan on staying in the home at least 10 years. That's my recommendation, is at least 10 years. I went over this before. Zillow research found that buyers today, it can take an average of 13.5 years to break even. And so I really want to say more than 10 years, but I would say, the old rule of thumb was 5. If you search around the internet today, you'll see a lot of people say 7, but you're still not breaking even necessarily on average at 7 after all of the costs. Again, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it. There's a lot of other upsides. We just want to make sure that all of those other things are in place, because home ownership is a wonderful thing. It's a fun thing. And it's an exciting thing, but it can also be a terrifying thing if you don't have the money. Because here's what happens is you get into the house, you don't have your emergency fund in place, you don't have all of the other financials in place, and then the furnace breaks and you have to replace it. You need something.
Yeah, there's no
Then
choice.
you call them up, you buy a brand new furnace that's $10,000. You can't pay for it, so you finance it. And then what happens is our margin, our monthly margin, because of all these other payments, because we aren't able to afford the things, we have to take out more debt, then our margin just gets sucked out. And now we're living on this like needle thin, razor's edge of a margin, and life is stressful.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create a life that you're excited about, not a life that you're like struggling to keep your head above water. And you can do it. And it takes the self-control of waiting to do a big purchase like this until you're ready. And you can do it. One of the ways that you can do this is by budgeting. Budgeting is amazing, but budgeting is also a pain in the ass.
It is.
It is a huge pain. And not only is it a pain to do, it's a pain to consistently keep up. And so that's why I created the Unbudget. And if you go to timgosnell.com, I have a whole you to figure out how to manage your money. This is a fully automated system. You don't have to categorize expenses. You don't have to, do all this stuff. Once you set it up, it's set it and forget it, and you know how much you have to spend. Check that out at timgosnell.com. I'll see you next week here on the channel.